All right, we are definitely recording. Okay, well, welcome to the call tonight. And this is our first official HempFX Canadian call. And with us tonight, we have got two of our corporate team. We have got Dave Brisky, who's our fearless leader, our COO and president of Youngevity, the reason we have HempFX in our entire company. So incredibly grateful to him. We've also got our vice president of sales, Sean Brown. And we've also got one of our amazing corporate staff. I believe she's director of sales, Tracy DeWare from Australia on as well. So welcome to the call, everybody. And which one of you wants to go first? Sean, do you want to go first?
I love going first.
I know you do.
I will do that. I'm also fearless. Louise left that out of my introduction. I am not afraid. So I am excited to be here with all of you. Welcome to this Youngevity opportunity call, specifically targeting Canada, and which has been a fantastic market for us for many years now. And we're super thrilled to get on today and talk to you a little bit more about hemp and CBD and the opportunity in Canada. We are a 21-year-old, 22-year-old company now, and publicly traded on the NASDAQ. And you can find us there under the stock ticker YGYI, the stock symbol. And you can find out and read about us. We have a lot of stuff out there. So, this is not a startup company nor a startup opportunity, but we are so thrilled that so many of you took some time away from what you were doing, your families and other things, to spend a little bit of time with us tonight and learn about this incredible opportunity. Dave Brisky, who I'll bring on here in a minute, has a vision of turning Youngevity into a multi-vertical company, which he's done in many ways. One of the verticals we have is coffee, right? Which we go from plantation to finished product. We also have a large network marketing company that is in 13 countries around the world. And we have a brand new CBD hemp vertical, which Dave's going to talk to you about tonight. So I'm going to bring him on. He really is the mind behind all of this. He's been really working around the clock, making these opportunities happen. And he'll tell you all about a little bit how that happened and what he's done. But, he's just a charismatic, super fun, people first kind of guy. And you'll find that as you listen to him and spend time with him. Dave, super thrilled to have you on tonight.
Oh, thank you. And Louise, thanks for having me and all the, oh, wow, we got a bunch of people on this call. So this is a little bit better than that last one I was on, Louise. You must be working or something. That is awesome. Anyways, hi, Valerie. How are you? Anyways, nice to meet you all. I hope to meet you all in person someday. I'll give you just kind of a brief background. Prior to Youngevity, I was in the public markets as well. I grew a company called Drew Pearson Marketing. Drew Pearson Marketing, a former NFL player, a guy named Drew Pearson, close personal friend, involved in Youngevity today. That was about a 20-year run. We ultimately took that company public on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange as part of our exit. Our claim to fame in that business, and I bring it up because I think it ties in well to the hemp story, is we built the first westernized factory in Shenzhen, China, back in the time when Nike was having the child labor issue. So we thought by building our own factory and really controlling the social responsibility that one would need to have, we could make a difference. And that was a completely vertical operation as well. And what I mean by vertical is we controlled everything in the process. And the reason why I like vertical operations is when things are really good, like there's a new industry, you can make a screaming margin, right? But if you really believe an industry is going to be there for the long haul, what you want to make sure is you have your costs in order so that you're going to be there in the long haul. In other words, no matter what happens to pricing, you're going to be the last person standing. And you're going to be able to compete with anyone. And that's why I love vertical companies. So that was my first vertical deal. We actually bought our cotton and spun it into yarn. We were so vertical. We were in the textile business. So then that was a labor of love. We actually ended up building the largest, still to this day, headwear manufacturing plant in the world, and it still exists today as the largest plant ever created to produce baseball caps. And believe it or not, the headwear business is a commodity business today. If you go into your closet, especially if you're a guy, you will see 100 hats, right? You know, we're not throwing them away fast enough. And if you're not, you know, and there's fashion caps, and there's caps like this, right? The beanies and all, we did everything, right? And so that became a commodity type business. But back when we first got into it, it was huge margin business, the license business. You know, we were like the first NFL licensee, first MLB, first Canadian Hockey League licensee with the NHL, for example. And it was a very, very nice business. And from that business, when I exited, I got into the coffee business. And in the coffee business, I ultimately, I took that company public as well. And then we ultimately acquired essentially Youngevity in July of 11. And it was, you know, really much of a merger because Youngevity was actually bigger than us. And so the first thing we did in the coffee business is I wanted to get vertical as well. And so obviously we've now accomplished that. Those of you that have been involved in Youngevity for some time know that we own 1,000 acres in Nicaragua. It's in the middle of the rainforest, beautiful, sustainable operation up there. We have 180 plus families that live with us on that plantation. We generate our own green power through a routing that we did with the river through an old-fashioned water wheel, and we have generator there, and we have power in the middle of the rainforest. We built an entire housing project there, and we own all the certifications you can possibly own in coffee, whether that be direct trade or organic or Rainforest Alliance or bird friendly and all of those things. And so in coffee, it's about almost a 5-year project to become totally vertical in coffee. In other words, our nurseries that exist in the middle of the rainforest in Nicaragua have 250,000 plants in them right now growing. That's for the saplings. The second year is out there, another 250,000 plants. And then in year 3, we start putting them into the ground because they can then sustain within the plantation. And our goal is to build the densest coffee plantation in the world. That's our goal. And we're doing that in a fully sustainable manner now. We have just finished building the largest processing plant, certainly in Nicaragua and possibly in all of Central America. And then from that processing plant from there, once we go from green coffee, we ship it to our roasting operations in Miami, Florida, where we roast, package, and grind every type of coffee and every type of packaging, whether it be whole bean flavored, hemp coffee. Yes, we do that as well. And we package it in K-cups and bags and frac packs, and we private label roast for a lot of large folks, Carnival Cruise Lines, Norwegian, and so forth. That was about a 5-year labor of love. This year, 2019, the year that just passed, that business really started to flourish, became nicely profitable. We grew over 100% in 2019, and our coffee business is now north of a $50 million business. So what we did in coffee, we watched what was going on in the hemp space. And we saw that the hemp space was really coming on. CBD was happening. We certainly were keeping an eye on Canada. Obviously, what's going up there in both the marijuana space and in the CBD space, we found that to be interesting. And we really saw that CBD was something that was going to be a worldwide ingredient ultimately. And we know it's going to move beyond CBDs, right? That's just one of the 150 plus cannabinoids that are in a plant, in the hemp plant. So we said, geez, it's really just getting started. Our view on CBD and hemp is that that particular ingredient will be the largest selling ingredient of our lifetime. That's what we believe. Bigger than vitamin C, bigger than calcium. If you guys remember the calcium craze when Anita Bryant was putting calcium in orange juice, bigger than essential fatty acids and EFA. So we wanted to make a major commitment to the hemp space. And we don't play things small when we go vertical on these things. We go we do it in such a way that we essentially go field to finish. In coffee, we're field to cup, and we were going to go field to finish in the hemp space. Our goal there was we felt what we did in coffee, which took us 5 years, in the hemp business, we could do it in 12 to 18 months. We could achieve the same level of success in sales, and that we would play throughout the entire vertical. And what I mean by that is that not only do we do finished products, but we're going to grow our own products. We're going to extract We're going to sell the raw ingredients. We are a supplier of green coffee to major players. Up in your neck of the wood. Hortons is a customer of ours, for example, that buys our green coffee, by example, or Green Mountain Coffee, or McDonald's coffee, as an example, buys our green coffee as an ingredient because of all the certifications we have. But then we'll go all the way through the process. So we like to make money through the proposition. That's why on Youngevity's business, we get a lot of people saying that's impossible. You can't do that. How can Youngevity give all the profits from the sale of its coffee to charity, right? 100% of the profits of our coffee business sold through Youngevity, we give to charity. And we can do that because the rest of the vertical does so well from a profitability standpoint. So we wanted to do the same thing in hemp. As I said, we thought we could do it in 12 to 18 months. And so we set off a plan to go down that road and how we'd accomplish it. Initially, we started looking at growth. We said, well, we got to start like we did in Nicaragua. Maybe we should acquire a plantation. As we really evaluated the grow opportunity, we just saw a lot of not so intelligent money entering the grow space. A lot of big money being thrown at it. A lot of people that didn't really understand agricultural processing, the ag business, a lot of non-farmer experience, just like dumb money going after it. And we were concerned that maybe the grow was not a good place to start. We'd maybe go back and figure that out. Understand that we have a massive management team in the ground in Nicaragua, and that ultimately we knew we could be very competitive if at some point we could maybe grow hemp in Nicaragua and leverage our management team out there. So maybe grow wasn't the right place to start. As luck would have it, we did a lot of research, and we found a company, and we acquired this company in February of last year. So just under a year ago. This company, really smart bunch of guys, PhD level, PhD engineers. And they set out, they looked at the hemp space, and they acquired all the equipment. When I say acquired, they made it, they own the IP, and they got into the hemp space in the way they were going to be an equipment company. So they were going to get into the extraction business, the post-processing business, and anything you would need if you were in the hemp business, they were going to make the equipment that would allow you to be successful in the hemp business. We thought this was a pretty genius strategy, but I didn't really want to get into the equipment business just yet. What I wanted to do is utilize that equipment to put us in the refinery business, the manufacturing business, a real long-term sustainable business, so that we could be the best producers of ingredients and finished products that there was. And no one could compete with us because we were using the most efficient equipment on the planet. And then ultimately, that would even make us a better finished goods equipment manufacturer. Right? Because when you use your own equipment and you feel the pain of something inefficient, you're going to make sure that you're going to make those improvements. So ultimately, even it would drive our equipment business. So we acquired that company in February. We paid, I think the total purchase price was just under $15 million. We bought it with stock and cash. And we then pivoted the model to get into the refinery business. Well, don't forget, we had to get back to the farm level, right? Because we didn't acquire a farm. So we cut a couple of ventures with farmers that were growing, that had hemp coming out of the ground. We tested their hemp, and that's an important piece. I didn't really get into the other components of this acquisition, but the company's name is Chrysos Industries. Chrysos happened to also own its own third-party FDA level lab. And when I say FDA level, it owns the same equipment at its lab that the FDA would use if it was to do a test on products. So we own all of that, so we can make sure that we're properly testing the products, which many of you probably know is a big problem in the industry still today. There's a lot of product that is labeled a certain way that actually the product doesn't test what the label says. And this is going to be a continuing problem in the industry probably for some years to come. So we had all those capabilities. We found a couple of farms, one in Oregon, one in Colorado, and we cut a 5-year supply agreement with the farmer where we did a revenue share, and we took our extraction equipment, left it on our balance sheet, and we placed it at the farm level. So the farmer's doing the farming, and we are testing the product quality of the hemp, and then we do the extraction using our own equipment. And then we turn that hemp into hemp oil, crude oil. A lot of folks don't even realize that crude oil is still really not even a sellable ingredient. Yes, it's a raw material. Look at crude oil as if you remember the days of the spindle top back in, there was lots of movies about Texas where people would drill oil in the ground and this black gold would come up out of the ground. That oil, that crude is not a product that really does anything. Crude oil must be refined into what? Gasoline, right? Now gasoline is a product. Well, hemp is very similar. Hemp is a hemp plant, can't be really used much for anything other than rope, right? We all know that hemp's been around for many, many, many years. In fact, the ropes on the Mayflower were made of hemp. But in terms of an ingredient, you have to get the oil out of the hemp. And if you've ever seen a hemp plant and actually squeezed it and did stuff with it, you'd see that there's not a whole lot of oil in that hemp plant. It's a very, very difficult a plant to get oil out of. So we use super hypercritical extraction system that we of course own and have created, running at 5,000 PCI with dual motors, the most efficient extraction equipment that there is today on the market, not the cheapest, but the most efficient, that will take and process and push that oil into crude out of the hemp plant. And so we've cut these deals, and that gives us control of our own oil. And we then ship that oil, right, with a rev share from the farmer, so we own it together, to our refinery operation in Orlando, Florida. We have 82,000 square feet under roof in Orlando, Florida, where all of our own equipment exists there to do the post-processing of this crude oil. And when I say the post-processing, it's all equipment we've owned and made, everything you would do to turn crude oil into finished ingredients. Let's stop there for now, just to the finished ingredients. So we literally do winterization. We have large freezers there that take the hemp crude oil down to 80 below zero. The reason why you do that is you want to get the fats and lipids to get nice and firm. We then take that and winterize that oil, which means we remove the fats and lipids. That's why our creams have so much efficacy. We don't take CBD and add it to cosmetic creams, which many people do. We're actually using the fats and lipids from the plant itself, which is laden with CBD and gives you incredible efficacy. So we scrape all those fats and lipids off. That gives us the oil. We then take the oil to our distillation area of our business, and we distill out any THC that might be in the product, and we distill out any impurities, right? So if there happened to be, if a part of the plantation many years ago maybe grew tobacco and there was some of those impurities in there, we extract through our distillation all of that out and end up with a pure oil. From that pure oil, then we then go into a triple distillation system and then start to create either refined oil. Now we're getting to an ingredient, right? And this is something, I mean, everyone maybe probably knows about tinctures and stuff that we actually could ingest and take. And then we have isolate reactors in our plant where we actually go ahead and make conversions to isolate. We also make water-soluble isolate in a powder form and water-soluble isolate in a liquid form. Not many people do all of that. Those are all the ingredients that exist in hemp. So anyone that's making a product out there must have one of those core ingredients to actually become a product. So we really haven't gotten to a product yet. We've really just gotten to ingredients. From there, within this facility, there's also some sections that we actually do the manufacturing. So we do have our own tincture line. So we take our ingredients and we do make our own tinctures there. We have a whole flavoring system. We can add whatever flavors that we want, all natural flavors. We use many, actually. Olive oil is becoming a very, very big suspendable oil right now for CBD oil. CBD oil by nature doesn't really taste very good, so you don't need a whole lot of it to hit high milligram counts of CBD. So you want it to play nicely with another oil. So many times you will see that. We certainly can put CBD back into hemp oil. We put it in CMT. We put it in olive oil and other different ways that we can deliver different tinctures depending on our customer. We also, within our facility, have the ability to make bath salts, CBD bath salts we make. We make CBD bath bombs, which is a very, very nice product. I tell you, if you've ever taken a bath and taken a bath bomb with CBD in it, you want to be relaxed. That's a very, very nice product. We also are just bringing up our own gel cap manufacturing system. So we manufacture gel caps in this facility, and we have an entire commercial grade pet kitchen for pet products. So that's kind of the finished goods end of our business. So we either are supplying those what we call the main ingredient, main products out there within our facility, or we can take the ingredients and kind of go with a co-partner or a co-packer as something else that we may think is ancillary but still want to add to our line. What I really want you to understand is how committed we are to the space. We have a very, very long-term view. Our 82,000 square foot plant has Class 7 clean rooms in it. It was fully a pharma facility. This facility was the former headquarters of a company called Nephron Pharmaceuticals. Nephron is a very large pharma company. In fact, it's a woman-owned company. Lou Kennedy is the CEO of Nephron, and I believe it's the largest privately owned company in the United States, at least pharma. I think their sales are approaching $4 billion in revenue, privately owned, out of South Carolina. So you can imagine they know a thing or two about quality and a thing or two about producing stuff at a GMP pharma level. The reason why we're playing pharma level is at the end of the day, we don't know how the FDA is going to go on this, okay? Our opinion is that the FDA, because this CBD cat has been out of the barn for a little bit too long, the FDA, I think, is going to have a hard time pulling it back. So there's 3 areas that we see this CBD products are going to play in. Obviously, it's going to be in the supplement business. Now, that's the easiest place to enter, right? I think most of you understand the FDA in the US here, they don't actually control the supplement business. All they do as it relates to supplement is make sure that you don't make health claims that aren't viable and that your label matches what's in the product. That's where the FDA's job begins and ends with the supplement. They actually don't have oversight over supplements itself, just ingredients, labeling, and claims, okay? That's the easiest entry point. That's where most people are playing. Most people are playing that way here and in Canada, actually. The next one that's a little bit harder is food, right? Ingestible food grade products. All right, so that I believe is going to have that has a little more oversight, right? The Food and Drug Association, the FDA. So food grade is a little bit kicked up in terms of its capabilities, all right? And then the major place, which really butters the bread of the FDA in the US, is drug, right? Pharma. Well, if you will be bold enough to play at pharma level, you get food and supplement for free, right? Because you're playing at such a high level. So our facility is pharma level. The Nephron people who we leased the facility for, they still owned it. Nephron turned over a number of their people. This is an Orlando-based facility, which is in Florida. Those of you that don't know the U.S. geography maybe so well. I know we have a lot of Canadians on the call, but in Florida, their facility now is South Carolina. Many did not move. Their GMP certification team is now aboard our team. Many of their plant operators is aboard our team. And so we were very fortunate in this relationship with Nephron to be able to have a facility of this level. In fact, we were very, very lucky because the infrastructure that was in this facility is incredible. It's unbelievable. In fact, if we looked everywhere and essentially did not find an opportunity that we could have afforded. And we were ready to do a bunch of decentralized locations until we met this Nephron facility. So it had about $8 million of infrastructure in the building that we could utilize that would mostly have been something you'd throw away from someone else. So I love the expression, I'd rather be lucky than good. I'm sure you've all heard it. We got very, very lucky. I'd like to, make it sound like I was like super smart and figured something out or did something. No, we just got lucky with Nephron. They actually reached out to us. They saw us in a press release and reached out to us. They were having trouble doing some extraction on their hemp, found us in the news and reached out to us. And there was one of those relationships that was just fortunate and put us in a position to really leapfrog all the other manufacturers in the United States. I believe that our facility is the #1 facility in America and possibly certainly in North America, okay, in terms of its capabilities, in terms of the fact that it was a former GMP facility that we have already engaged a GMP body, which by the way happens to be in Orlando, Florida. that will start doing the GMP certification for us. So we have the capabilities to do it all and to be totally vertical. What we started to do, I talked to you about Nicaragua, right? Our coffee business. When we saw the prices kind of being a little bit sporadic and we had these 2 farm deals, we went and had a conversation with the government of Nicaragua. And you can read this in our press, but we signed a 10-year exclusive to grow hemp in the country of Nicaragua. We're the only company that can do that. We did that because I talked to you about playing it big and playing it long. At some point, pricing could get very compressed here, and you don't want to be shut out on pricing. So if you go to Nicaragua, you know, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's no coffee growing in the United States anywhere except Kona coffee in a region of Hawaii that, you know, people have convinced others that they can get a premium price for it. And one of the reasons is the land's high priced and the labor is so expensive. Well, labor in Nicaragua is about $16 a day. So it's a pretty good place to set up ultimately a hemp operation. So we are, that's a pilot program. We probably won't produce significant hemp there for 24 months, but it's a long-term play. We believe we'll ultimately control the licensing not only for Nicaragua, but the other countries in Central America. And our goal is to be the player in the Central American region as it relates to hemp grow, okay? We also are the first company in the state of Florida to obtain a seed license. So we are manufacturing seeds for other hemp growers. We also have 6 greenhouses we acquired in the state of Florida to do splices and start creating high CBN, high CBG, and other cannabinoids that we believe will have efficacy and start to produce plants that will allow us to produce those other incredible ingredients that are being tested but aren't in a commercialized quantity yet. And we're working on that. We hired Aftab Khan, who's the lead genomic gentleman at University of Florida, 28 years in terms of genome and genome editing. He is on our team, and that is his job. So I'm not telling you this to brag. I'm really not. I'm telling you this to let you understand the level of commitment we have to hemp. We are not in just one piece of the business. We are going from grow to seed to splicing to extraction to efficient extraction to ingredients creation, and then from ingredients creation to finished goods. This is a huge commitment. I welcome anyone to really look at who is in the space and to see how many companies are actually completely vertical and have made that type of commitment. We've got over $22 million in cash in this business on a pre-revenue basis to build this, but we believe that our sentiment that we could do what we did in coffee in the hemp business in 12 to 18 months will happen. We're 10 months in. That would mean we'd have to do $60 million of revenue. This is nothing to do with direct selling revenue that Youngevity may do with HempFX. This is just off the Creaso's division in 2020. We believe, based on who our customer base is developing and the level of customers that we have, that we will make that forecast happen, and therefore we will hit our mark of an 18-month goal of producing the same revenue in coffee that we did in hemp. That may sound like an arrogant goal. I want you to understand where the mindset came from it, because I think it's important that you understand this. If I make 5,000 pounds of coffee, picture that, 5,000 pounds, that's a lot of coffee. That will yield me about $5,000. But if I do like 1 liter of hemp, like I always have a bottle, like, you know, liter is just a little bigger than this, and I know this is wine. But if I did 1 liter of hemp, you know, that's $5,000. Okay, 5,000 pounds I couldn't fit in this room, but 1 liter of hemp. So from a scalability standpoint, we can scale much faster, right? So that was the first reason. The second reason, and this is a big reason, is that hemp's a blue ocean, right? In coffee, I always have to take business from somebody. But in the hemp space, it's all new business, new people getting in. So the growth prospects are much greater. A lot of folks I'm talking to never even spoke to another hemp company. right? They just love what we have going on. They thought we could do the supply, and they're just getting in the business, and more people are getting in it every day. So, you know, it's something I'm really passionate about. I think the best products have yet to be imagined in the space. I can promise you our line will just continually grow. I want you to understand that as it relates to this space, Louise actually came to me and really was excited about getting into the hemp space in Canada. And we weren't even looking at it. But we already had relationships, and we were already moving from a pharma level ingredients that, believe it or not, even though Canada's ahead of us, they were having challenges with certain technologies. Water-soluble isolate was a big challenge, especially in a liquid weight. They were having trouble suspending certain products, particularly in like water or non-alcohol based liquids. And so we had some technology that were interesting, and our products are being shipped into Canada. So when Louise came to me, I just reached out to our pharma level relationships. Okay, so and I said to him, hey, listen, we've got these products. Can you help me get our products up into Canada in a legitimate way? And can we create a long-term roadmap to ship direct to consumer? So I think I told Louise that, maybe the soonest we'd have a product there would be 90 days. I know we beat that considerably, but we have a very strong alignment with a pharma company. They're an LP. They also are LD. They operate completely under the laws of the state of Canada. We do not have an NPN number right now. However, the LP is managing the compliance requirements with Health Canada. And I've told them that from a direct selling standpoint, the NPN number feels magic to a lot of folks. I actually had that conversation about an hour before this call, and they said that could be done for us if we would move to LD level. It happens to be the same company, okay? I'm not sharing this because there's so many people out there that are kind of coming at our company. I'll call it a trade secret now. I can tell you we're a NASDAQ level company. We're fully reporting. Even our certifications of our hemp products are audited by our accounting firm, which is the 8th largest firm in America. We have a lot to lose not to play by the rules, okay? We're not cowboys. We do it right. We're going to be in the hemp business for a long time. We feel like what we're doing in Canada is exciting, and it's creating a little bit more insanity than I thought it might, okay? But we've got great products. They're fully tested. They're in the country, completely legitimate. Our pharma partner is very, very strong, LP, LD level. We're operating under the laws of Canada. But after the conversation today, they said, if you want NPNs, we will work with you on the NPNs. We already are utilizing your ingredients in country. We're happy to follow those rules and get those numbers if you think it will grow your business. And I said, I actually, in this channel, I think it seems to be a buzzword that people are throwing around. So we'll move down that process. One of the other things that were brought up on this call, and I think it could be interesting, and they felt, understand, these are very, very strong folks at a very high level. They asked if I thought, they said, I know you keep saying you have no interest at all in the distribution of any cannabis products, right? I'm talking about with THC. But if you're interested in that, if you feel a field in Canada has an appetite for that, maybe you could create a separate line and we could launch something like that for you in the next 8 months. We have made no decisions about that, but we will talk to our field about whether that makes sense. We have every product we produce here is THC free. The products we're bringing to Canada as it relates to is THC free. That'll be something we will really take a hard look at and figure out whether that makes sense for a direct selling business or not. I don't know if it does, but we certainly, being our capabilities as an ingredient supplier, is something that we will evaluate maybe for other channels or see if that is a fit here. But we believe we'd be the first company that could actually deliver that on a large scale basis. So, this is how we're thinking. We're launched in Japan now. We're officially launched. We're shipping products directly to you, I believe, at least as of today in Canada. We have other countries that we're opening up. We will be Central America distribution. We do extraction already in Colombia. So we're on the move, and we expect this to be a major opportunity around the world for the next 10 to 12 years at least. So I know that's a fairly long-winded story, but I think it was important for you to understand the commitment, understand what we'd have to lose not to do things right. By the way, there's only 2 NASDAQ companies that are in the hemp space on the entire exchange. We're one of those 2. And we're gonna play by the rules. If you had any idea what we go through on a quarterly basis from a reporting standpoint and the oversight that we'd have, you'd understand how committed we are to the space and doing things right in all facets. What else? Let me look at these. They're sure. Can we get a very specific information regarding Canada, Health Canada approval? I just said it. I'm sure some people rolled their eyes. I'm sure our competition is going to say, aha, I told you. We are legitimately in Canada doing it the right way. I don't care what they say. We know what we're doing. I've had 3 people call me. I've had Better Business Bureaus now reaching out in the US. We're not going to give out how we do everything. Eventually, it will all be figured out for other folks. By then, we expect to be further down the road. So we'll push into an LD level with this company, but we know what we're doing. Let's see. Let me just first company to do this the right way. Yes, definitely doing it the right. THC, I believe THC free is the way to go. That's why our whole line is THC free. We aren't even considering anything. I threw out the idea of medical marijuana just because that would be at least an 8-month to a year process. But at some point, it may become something that if we think we could leverage and would be good, we would. But we're not in that space now. But we just have a partner that said, hey, it might be interesting. So we'll keep polling and tolling and see if it may be worth, it may be too troublesome in a direct selling channel. And one thing we have to be careful of is we don't want to confuse our 23-year message of health. That's why we don't sell alcohol products. I mean, we've had all the wine companies come to us, and I drink wine. I mean, I enjoy it very much. But at the end of the day, we don't want to jump into spaces that maybe send a bad health message. So I need a standing ovation. No, keep your seat. What else we got? Patches would be nice. No disagreement. Wholesale opportunities. I don't know, something we can explore. We're just getting started. We ended up, shipping Louise another 3 different products today. Actually, they're on their way up to you guys. We're going to keep developing products. We have so many cool products in the works. We have major companies in our facility continuously. And they're having us work on incredible products. And frankly, we don't sell any other direct selling company. So it's easy for us to take those products and make them for our channel. So as we see stuff that has real legs, we expect to be able to continually bring out those products that matter. Do we have gummies? No. We don't do gummies because we think there's a health issue, too much sugar and these types of things. I think there's better delivery systems for gummies. I think gummies for medicinal marijuana is probably a pretty good delivery system. Certainly better than vaping, definitely better than a joint or any of that delivery system. So certain things matter. I think tinctures are great. I think gel caps are going to be huge. Bath bombs, maybe not huge, but man, if you ever take a bath in a bunch of CBD, I mean, you're going to get out very, very happy. Our creams and ointments are unbelievable. Fats and lipids. I showed it on a call. I don't know. I think we had 8 of you on the call, but I actually was able to hold up to show the type of cream, the way it's just so, it's so natural. I guess that's the way. It's so natural because it's literally the fat and lipid right off the top of the hemp oil. And so we're definitely be bringing out and expanding that and many other products. Yes, bath bombs. Okay, I like that. Are the products for Canada shipped from Canada base? It was shipped from Canada. The product is shipped to you from Canada. That was a question that was just asked. Louise or anyone else, do we want to kind of end the recording and go into some Q&A, or what do you want to do? I can't hear you.